My name is Dr. Nicole Connolly, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist here in Santa Clarita, California. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this video. In this video, I hope to provide a little bit of an overview about the kinds of things that I do in my psychotherapy practice here in Santa Clarita, to give you an idea about the kinds of issues that I work with, the kinds of people that I work with, and how I work with people and can be helpful, maybe even helpful to you in your life as you're dealing with your stresses day by day. So I consider myself a psychologist who works with the entire family. I have a real passion for helping families and individuals themselves overcome the things that really stress them out, get them down, and interfere with leading a really meaningful, connected, in the present moment sort of life. So I work with families in a number of different ways. Sometimes I might work with a child who's really struggling with a problem. I find that when kids have a problem, it can be very stressful to the child to feel like there's something not right with them, to feel like they're different from other people. And so I can work with them to figure out ways to help make the problem better, whether it's anxiety, depression, sadness, poor self-esteem, attention problems, or something like autism or Asperger's. It can be really helpful to work with a child to help them understand what's going on and find different ways to deal with their problems. Sometimes the stress is in the adults in the household. Sometimes adults, we have our own problems. I know as a parent myself, it can be very stressful just being a parent, going about the day-to-day life, the daily grind. And sometimes it can be helpful just as a parent to have someone to talk to release some of that stress. A lot of parents out there struggle themselves with their own problems with anxiety or depression, or maybe they have trouble controlling their anger, or just are overwhelmed with stress and have difficulty setting boundaries with others or around their work, or whatever it is. Sometimes those are the kinds of things that can be helpful to talk about in therapy, so I work with some of that too. I also work sometimes with families where it's a problem in the relationship between the mom and the dad in the household. So marriage, couples kinds of issues, sometimes those kinds of problems when there's a lot of conflict or poor communication or difficulty feeling connected, a lot of that can trickle out into the rest of the people around you in your family. I also work with families all together. So the way that I help these kinds of problems is I am really primarily what's called a cognitive behavioral therapist. I practice cognitive behavioral therapy, which is also called CBT. I encourage you to look it up. I have some information on my website about CBT, so feel free to poke around and look for some of that too. But in a nutshell, CBT is really about understanding how the way that we're thinking about things and viewing things affects how we're feeling and how we're reacting in a situation. And that we can really change our lives, change the way that we're feeling, the way that we're reacting, by changing the way that we are thinking about things, and to some extent changing the way that we cope with things, the things that we do to deal with it when we are getting stressed out or anxious or depressed or angry. And that applies to adults and to children and even to couples. So I love cognitive behavioral therapy because it's a great technique that has received a lot of research from scientists all over the US and worldwide. So it is considered to be an empirically validated treatment. You hear a lot about evidence-based practice, and CBT, I feel, is one of the best supported therapies out there in the evidence. So, I consider when I'm working with an individual or with a whole family, I think it's very important to look at the research to find out what actually is effective for these kinds of problems, and then look at your unique individual situation, because every family is unique. Everyone has different needs. Any individual family, stress could be coming from a problem with one parent, or with the marriage between the parents, or from a kid, or whatever is going on. So we have to figure out where's the source of the problems and how do we best go about addressing that based on the research and also based on just what's going on in the moment. And that's where a lot of the work of the therapist comes in, to really tailor those best practices to fit you and your situation and your needs. I work with people in my office. I also sometimes work with people outside of my office if that's really what meets your needs best. Sometimes I go into families' homes to work there if that's what's going to work best. Sometimes I have people who struggle, say, with anxiety about talking to a salesperson at the mall. So maybe we go to the mall and talk with the salesperson and practice that to help get past the anxiety. It really depends on the individual and what you need or what your family needs. So I would love to talk with you. If you are interested in finding out more about me and how I work, please explore my website. I have lots of information here so that you can make a good decision about whether I might be a good fit for you. Also, there's no substitute for talking to me in person too, so please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email and we can set up a time to chat. And I'm happy to talk with you about the things that are going on in your life and to talk with you a little bit about how I might tailor what I do to fit your situation in your unique individual life. So I hope that you find this useful, and I hope that you will stick around, explore the website, and give me a call so we can chat. Thank you so much for your time.